Okay, so let us begin part 2. So, unique features, you get 3 of these per your entire career. 3rd level, 6th level, and 9th level. It'd be interesting if you got one at 1st level as well, but I'm sure that there's balance reasons not to. So let's take a look at what we can get. Attribute boost. Plus 2 to 1 attribute or 1 to 2 attributes, not counting luck, to a maximum of 18 or 19 for strength and con on Minotaurs. Does that include derived attributes like initiative? Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's 2 5% boosts that stack 2 skills related to 1 attribute. So yeah, that's a good one. That's boring but practical is, I believe, the standard term for that. Setting. Okay, so let's just do this. Blood of Brogar. Brog? How's that pronounced? I can't pronounce triangle. Magical powers tied to your secret bloodline have manifested recently. Once per job, you can invoke a spell that normally requires a casting it's a casting check. So join. Okay, so that's 3 spells that you can get. We'll need to check back on this at some point once we've actually seen what the spells can do, but they appear to be socially focused, which is cool. Breach the Veil, which is once you run out of spells, you get basically it appears to be the equivalent of just pulling the pin on a grenade while you're wearing it. That sounds like a nasty desperation move. Not sure that I'd ever want to be in a situation where that's necessary, but when it is, go out with a bang, you know? You either live a quiet life or die loudly. Charmed Life. Increase your maximum luck by 1 point when making luck rolls on a roll of 1 to 3. Okay, that's pretty good. Depends on how many effects the GM uses that actually use luck, of course. But not something to sniff at. City Rat. Advantage on sleight of hands. That's useful in a lot of builds, but that's incredibly narrow for a advantage trait. I mean, sleight of hand's a dexterity and agility based thing, so our friends the goblins already have that, no need for it. That feels really narrow for this, for a feature that's this valuable to you. You only get 3 in your entire career. Okay, and it comes in levels. So 2nd level, 1d3 days to get a +3 on chase and retreat tests within the district limits. Okay. And after exploring for d3 days, make an gather intel check with a +3 bonus to find the quickest route across town, understand gang turf lines, identify peacekeeper patrol routes, or find a suitable location for a safe house. A lot of those really feel like pretty standard uses of stuff, so City Rat really feels underwhelming. Like, you've just spent all 3 of your unique features to get a +3 on stuff that realistically you can probably do without any traits supporting it at all. It feels too expensive for the benefit given. Okay, so combat medic. During a short rest, you may automatically cause one ally, but not yourself, to succeed a recovery will check. You may declare this before... must declare it before the will check is made. Okay, so... that's pretty useful. So I'm just gonna quickly, if I can... no, yeah, that's not the one. Okay. View, let's put it to there. Better. Okay, if a PC dies and you move into touch range of the body before the end of the next round, the deceased may make a second all dead or mostly dead check. If they survive, PC's con is not reduced, unlike using a heart jacker, once per job only. Okay. Bit of an investment, but it's the difference between all dead and mostly dead. And you don't lose con out of it, so that's pretty solid. I would definitely say if you're going for a support type character, this is a trait that you want to pick up. Covert techniques. Okay, so limited version of Infiltrator. So you get 2 techniques and you get 2 uses of it. Okay, that's very nice. And presumably that's going to be the template for all of the cross-class stuff. So we're just going to be very... we're just going to touch on cross-class from now on, but it's 2 extra uses of techniques, and 2 techniques that you wouldn't normally have access to. I'd suggest get 1 passive, 1 active. So like just grab advantage on all your your stealth stuff, for instance. There's some really nice stuff that infiltrators get, so this is definitely worth having. It does really make a mockery of level 1 City Rat, though, because, like, yeah, I get advantage on sleight of hand checks with mine. Oh, yeah? Well, where's our infiltrator? Here we are. Yeah, no, so for the same investment, I'm going to grab, let's see. Ooh. Well, what's that? I'm sure there would... yeah, I'm going to grab Shadow and Recon Leader. Oh, I have advantage on their stealth, and I can give my allies advantage twice per job. Yeah, I'm freaking badass. I think that's a better use of your time, honestly. It's, yeah, City Rat really strikes me as a bad build. At least comparatively speaking. Custom cyberware. Okay, you get some custom gear. Nice. Okay, that also costs money. I'm not sure how that would work. This is a very GM dependent quality. Could be great, could be terrible. I can't really rate this. Okay, Cyberblade Expert. +2 damage with implanted blades. Neat. +1 crit range. Beautiful. And critical hits do blade trauma. No save. Okay. Yeah, this is, if you're going for someone who is just going to be stabbing people with your Wolverine claws, you take this. This is a no-brainer. Drug Cook. You're good at procure... Okay. If you make at least 1 downtime Activity check with cooking. Int check. Successful. You create. I'm not sure I like random. I would say that, if you're cooking it, it's not going to be random. Even with the ingredients being, with what you can get your hands on being random, I would suggest it should probably have at least some level of flexibility or control there. Great success, you make 5 doses. Terrible failure, your drug explodes. Your lab explodes, which is bad. People like having unexploded labs. Experimental tech, nice indeed. Okay, so this one has a minimum int, whereas covert techniques has no requirement. I don't like that that's just kind of put in the bottom there. It should be, if we're looking at like D&D and whatnot, your prerequisite is right up the top in bold, so you can't miss it. That's just a formatting thing though. Isolute, have a practical knowledge of study an item for 1d4 minutes. Okay. That really feels like it should be a skill, like appraise should be a skill rather than... Okay. Reroll what your loot is. Okay, I can see that being useful. I'm not sure I like this, honestly. The level 1 really feels like it should be a skill. And the level 2 one is... I don't know how... We'll touch on this later, so we'll decide on how powerful that is later. Groundwork. Once per job, when faced with an obstacle, not combat, you may suggest some preference. Oh, this I love. This is just... Okay. Yeah, no, here's something I did off screen beforehand because I'm a professional. Yeah, no, groundwork is excellent. Gun talents. This is this one doesn't have the minimum. So, okay, experimental tech is so far our only cross-class with a minimum. Hacking also doesn't have a prerequisite. Another cross-class. Okay, imbuements. Game on imbuement with 2 uses. Okay, so why do you get 2 hacks? You only get 1 invention. You get 2 covert techniques. This does not seem even. Okay. Why can only 1 player choose this in a campaign? This one seems really iffy because, you lose it if you get any cyberware implanted, which if you're not already a magic user, you're going to get cyberware implanted. Almost guaranteed. So, and only 1 person can take it per campaign, and you only get 1 use, one imbuement rather than the 2 hacks or whatever, or the 2 talents for an influencer. Influencers also have a minimum. Okay, neat. Injury adaptation. Trying to adapt to a permanent injury, negating all related penalties. Okay. So, yeah, that makes sense. If there's ongoing injuries, you can just, effectively negate one. Skilled at baking others with leverage. Okay. Oh. So this is first level negates a permanent disadvantage. Second and third level turn that disadvantage into an advantage. However, level 3 is just attribute boost. It's exactly the same except without the ability to choose what your points are going into. Don't like that. But I like the idea behind it. Iron Grit, plus 5 hit points. An advantage on dead or mostly dead. Oof. That will make you unkillable. Melee Specialist. 2 talents, 2 uses of the ability, no requirements. Yeah, that's a good one. Mil-Spec Wear. So, this is a funny thing that, Shadowrun and Cyberpunk and all that do with Mil-Spec. Because, ask anyone who's been in the army, if something is military grade, then it's made by the lowest bidder. Okay? Military grade stuff is not actually that good. Because, the army is going to buy stuff for quantity. It's got 1 million men to outfit or whatever. It's not going for individual quality for the most part. So, civilian grade stuff is often going to be higher individual quality than something made for the military because, they can charge more for premium stuff. So it's always interesting that these Cyberpunk games, mil-spec means really bleeding edge. Maybe Spec Ops or something like that. Black Ops spec. Anyway, that's just a thought. You get the military grade augment on the cheap, 1 piece of cyberware, automatically succeed on supply, and pay only half the usual price. Okay, so it's not even better, it's just fell off the wagon. Okay. That's not bad. Monster Lore. Make an int check, no action to identify. This really feels like another one where it should be a skill. Again, this feels like it should be a skill. The first part really feels like it should be a skill, and Monster Lore should give advantage on that skill, rather than being... Yeah, if I were rewriting this, same flavor text, Monster Lore would be a skill. First level would give you advantage on Monster Lore checks to learn about the legends and whatnot. Second level would be you get bonus damage against monsters that you succeed on your int check against. That's how I'd run it anyway. Named spell. Woof. New toy. You create your own unique spell. Well, you can't really argue with that. Oracle. Oh, okay. I don't like this ability as a GM. Because the thing is that the GM can't actually predict the future, no matter what we pretend. Unless we're railroading the shit out of the game, then we've got a general idea of what's happening. Like, we might have a module in front of us and we could look up something in the module, but even then, your actions will probably sequence break something. So I'm not a fan of any ability that requires the GM to predict the future. Particularly, if the GM isn't meticulously prepared for it, or, a lot of GMs are very, they have a general plan for the players, and then this wants something specific. And if I were a GM and you did this, I would say, okay, I'll tell you next session, and then I'd actually make a proper ominous sounding prophecy. But yeah, this is going to be a hard one on GMs, and depending on your GM style, it might not be workable at all. Okay, secret history. Revealed a secret background that no one suspected. Gain a related skill, and your extra background might also... Oh, I love this. But what I want, okay, cross my heart, I want this to change from you reveal to at any point after at any point after taking this, you can reveal a secret background that no one suspected. You know, because that has very that's a classic trope. The background doesn't come into play until it's needed. And let's be honest, no one's going to expect that you're a large animal trainer at the circus until the job requires you to deal with sick elephants. Okay, and I do really like this. I would like for a character to be able to take level 1 in Secret History multiple times and then just spring weird and wonderful backstory on the GM and the other players. Because, you know, I find that hilarious. But, yeah, this is a good one. This is a really good one. Seducer. Okay. This can make some people uncomfortable, but this is a very valid one. This is a very valid concept for this type of game. Advantage on... Okay. And there is where it falls down, because the advantage is going to be on charisma checks. And you know who already has access to advantage on all their charisma checks? That would be elves. Who already has advantage on most of their influence checks? That would be the influencer. So, yeah, level 1 is really redundant for the people who are most likely to want it. And that sucks, because this is something that really... It is an important part of the game. Okay, level 2. If you succeed on seducing a target, you may attempt to extract a secret or favour by spending a reroll die and succeeding on a charisma check, which obviously you're going to have advantage on because you're an elf. So, couldn't resist. GM retains a general veto and decides how long the process takes. Only one secret or favour may be obtained per job or downtime period. On a failure, the seduction ends. Okay. That's pretty useful. So yeah, as I said, I think that level 1 is going to be redundant for a lot of the characters that are likely to try this stuff. So there needs to be a way to bypass it. Or just roll them up. I don't think that... I think that combining the two would not be out of the question. Okay, 6th Sense. Advantage on all checks to... Okay. I would suggest that maybe also lets you reroll dice on initiative. Because here's the thing. I'm not going to say that you never get ambushed in this sort of game, but in theory, you're going to be the one initiating things for the most part. So if there's any ambushing to be done, your crew is going to be doing it more often than not. 6th Sense is good, but situational, in other words. So, know your GM. Skill Protege. Choose a new skill. Okay. So Skill Protege is mechanically better than Secret History already. The great success increases by 2. Ooh, that's nice. If you fail, you may choose... Okay. So yeah, that's pretty good for being good with one skill. But yeah, the first level 1 version is definitely just more powerful mechanically than Secret History, which sucks because Secret History is far more interesting. Spellcasting. Cross-class, only one may choose for some reason. I don't know why. Apparently this one is not affected by your cybernetics. So, yeah, if you want a cyber mage, go nuts. Street cred. Oh yeah. Now this one's setting dependent, which is interesting because, as I understand it, we don't really have that much info on the setting yet. When dealing with other criminals in these regions, you may make a charisma check. On a success, at least some of them have heard of you. This is a great one for a face type character, an influencer. And definitely you want an elf because advantage on your charisma check. Great success, they've heard favourable to you. Okay, so that's not bad. Vehicle expertise. Cross-class. Yeah, that's a pretty... It's another cross-class, 2 talenter, no restrictions. Yeah, this is a good one. Again, it's met with the normal problem with Vexes having a very limited niche. I would almost suggest that what you want to do is play a different class and get vehicle expertise rather than going a Vex. But, you know, if your campaign is vehicle heavy, go for it. And weapons training. Gain proficiency in a class of weapons. I feel like that's not quite enough that bang for your buck, honestly. Weapons training really... It should be more than one class of weapons to match up with some of the other stuff we've seen here. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Okay, skills and rerolls. Each PC begins the game with a number of skills as outlined in class descriptions, and +1 at 4th and 8th. Which, again, that really kind of highlights how Secret History is underpowered for level 1. Okay. Apply a modifier for being skilled or unskilled. Require a skilled background to even attempt. Being skilled might be a precondition for a great success. Okay. And you can reroll pool. Okay, so this is where we find out what that vaunted reroll pool is all about. First aid. Okay. Overlapping skills. Skills are not mutually exclusive. Okay, so if you're skilled in both, does that give you a bonus? Or nothing specified, so that'll be on the GM. Okay. Tailored skill list. Okay. Basically, the GM can modify stuff. Reroll pool. You get 1 dice per 2 levels, +1 if you're human. If you fail a check but have a relevant skill or background, the player... This really kind of makes you want to write the most Old Man Henderson of backgrounds for a character just to keep justifying bullshit. Don't do that. Okay, but it would be funny. The player may choose to reroll. The reroll pool is only once per attempted action, so you can't reroll a reroll. You don't get advantage or disadvantage on the reroll. So it's really good for disadvantage, not so great for advantage. But, you know, with advantage, you're getting 3 dice worth of shots at succeeding, so probably going to work. Always be used for all dead or mostly dead, luck, system, and short and long rests. Okay. And you can recover expended reroll on a short or long rest. So you roll for rest, which is interesting. Background may substitute as an appropriate knowledge skills. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. It does, and it encourages players to actually build their background, which I like. Okay, so we have acrobatics, which is dex based, athletics, strength or con, computer. This is one that pretty much everyone should have. Cybernetics, deception, demo, detection. So detection is going to be something everyone should get as soon and fast as possible. Like, in most games, your perception-based skill is a no-brainer anyway, but in a game like this, the ability to spot stuff is vital for everyone. Disguise and forgery. I'd have had those as two separate skills because they're not really similar. But thematically they're similar, but skill-wise they don't use the same tactics at all. Driving. Okay, so this is like stunt driving, not just regular driving. Electronics. First aid. Gather information. Knowledge. So yeah, this is all. So we already have a knowledge skill for monsters specifically, which makes that unique skill pretty redundant. Leadership, mechanical locks, persuasion. So I want you to notice most of these are physical skills, are pretty much all dex with one exception. Most of your mechanical skills are int based or can be int based, and most of your social stuff is charisma based. So those are your skills if you're a skill monkey. You want int, you want dex, and you want charisma. There are very few skills that won't cover. Doing things. I suppose that might be something that happens in a game, but let's be honest, mostly it's arguing. Okay, doing things. During a game session, you'll want to interact with the world. Straightforward stuff happens automatically. Between these actions, have a significant uncertainty attached to them. My rule with these things is only roll if there's a consequence for failure. Okay? But, yeah, that seems to be the general concept here. Making attacks, hiding from guard. Okay. So, attribute check, which includes skill checks, attack roll, luck roll, crew challenge, or percentile check. Okay. All checks are made d20, roll equal or under. Attribute modifier does not apply. 20 always fails. This is a pretty standard roll under system. And obviously you can get bonuses from your skill if the GM says being skilled would be a bonus. So that's useful. This is all pretty standard stuff. Modifiers, GM discretion, up to neg 1 to neg 3. This, common if you're looking at penalties. Bonuses of +1 to +3 are pretty common too. Modified cap of 18, so on a 19 to 20 you're always going to fail. Major beneficial circumstances are advantage, roll 2d20, take the lowest, and 2d20, take the highest for disadvantage. Yep, pretty standard. Great success and terrible failure. Equal to or less than half is a great success, which is a good thing. Rolling 1.5 times your attribute is a terrible failure, and natural 20 is a terrible failure regardless. Okay. Yeah, so this all checks out. As I said, this is a really standard, easy to understand system. Opposed checks. Whoever has the greatest margin wins. Highs means status quo remains. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. So status quo remains normally means defender wins, but obviously that can change. So opposed strength checks and arm wrestling. Okay, so representative and group checks. Make a single check to represent a group of enemies or allow the whole party to succeed in a task as long as more than half of the group succeeds. If half succeed and half fails, luck save for the group to succeed. Okay, so that's for like stealth, observation and retreat. I can see that. That's a pretty good thing, particularly when you've got just one not stealthy guy in the team, and and you don't have a recon leader. Okay, retries. Fail in tribute and wants to know if they can try again. Circumstantial. Yep. That's pretty standard stuff. It's, there's a good reason that you can't retry some stuff and can just keep retrying until you succeed for other stuff. As a rule, if you're going to keep trying until you succeed, the only reason that you'd be rolling in the first place is if it's at all time sensitive and the GM wants to get some idea of how long it takes or how much noise you make, whatever. Crew challenges. Some cases, crew challenge, ongoing task, gathering information. Okay. 2d6 or decides how many successes are needed to conquer the challenge. Okay, so this is very much like the skill challenges from, I think 4th edition D&D introduced them. It's, basically you want to accrue however many successes before X failures. This is standard stuff, but it's standard because it's good. Okay, this is this is a very normal mechanic to have because it's a reliable one that works well in this sort of game. Percentile checks, just a flat check chance of failure on percentile dice. It's a thing that happens sometimes. It's, I'll be honest, I don't think that percentile dice are really necessary most of the time because a d20 is in 5% increments. So if there's a 20% chance, it's 4 or lower. There's no need to break out special dice except that you bought them and you want to use them. And as a rule, it's not going to make a difference if you roll 37 or 38%. There are some situations where that's the case, but it's very rare. Okay. Weapon or magic resistance. Okay. Combat. Roll initiative. Oh, it's 3 to 6 seconds. It's flexible. I like that. Surprise round. So you get a free action for your surprise. Roll initiative. D20 equal to or under your initiative score. If the player fails, they act after. If they succeed, they act before. And if they great succeed, they go before. Okay, I really like this system. Simple, really easy, and this is a good system. 1 action and 1 move. May gain a second action from cyberware or whatever. Vex. Pretty standard stuff. Combat ends when a new round begins. Okay, so we don't have the initiative passes system from Shadowrun, but this is a game that's trying to stay with the general theme of Cyberpunk without going into hugely complicated systems, so I'm fine with that. Delay. You can delay your action until after another character's turn is complete. So, can you split, if you've got more than one action a turn, can you split your action? Like, can you act and then delay your second action? Yeah, that's an interesting tactical question. Character may ready an action in response to another event. Okay. Move 10 meters on foot. Might be able to jump or leap, parkour, whatever. Move silently, also part of your movement. Assuming suitable terrain is available. Dex versus perception, pretty standard. Move can not be broken up with an action. Okay. So, no shoot and... move... So do you have to move first, or can you shoot then move? These are the questions of our times. Now, this does... The fact that you can't move, shoot, move is a big deal. And particularly for stuff like in a T intersection, you can't start on one side of the T, move, shoot down the corridor, then move out of sight again to the other side. Which, you know, in 3.5 edition of D&D, how you do something like that was the shot on the run feat. Okay? So not having that is tactically important. That's not a throwaway line. Okay, double move, you can spend your action to double move. Nice. Charge, moves twice as far as normal, minimum 5 meters, and makes a melee attack, including any extra attack, with advantage, however, +2 to hit the charger. Okay. Yeah, if you remember back with the Brawler, they had a thing that negates that +2 to hit, so there's no reason they would not be charging. 20 meters, potentially. Whew. Yeah, that is really nice if you're a melee character. Withdrawing and free attacks, so it's got an attack of opportunity thing. Yep, that's good. Allows for a bit of battlefield control by the fighter. Blocking an area. 2 meter diameter. Can't move through without removing the defender in some way. Very large and small creatures might ignore blocking. Yeah, makes sense. Quickest way through is through. Standing up from prone, half the character's movement. Falling 3 meters is 1d6 damage. Easy to calculate. And 3 meters is approximately 1 floor of a building, give or take. So, you know, if you've got a multi-story building, it's probably just 1d6 damage per story. Luck save reduces damage by half. Sufficiently long drops automatically result in trauma table roll or explosive death. Yeah, that sounds painful. Retreat. Start of the round. If the whole team wishes to flee from battle, they must first explain how they escape. Then they can make a luck roll. If I remember correctly, infiltrators can actually give the group bonuses on this. Okay, so this is a screw it, we're out of here thing, which they can just do automatically as a team, which is good. So the reason that you do the retreat maneuver instead of just manually doing it is that it breaks combat. Okay? And that means that you're basically spending luck in order to get out of being shot at immediately, which is good. It's a good option to have. Potentially individual successes, you abandon your mates. That sometimes happens. Foot chasers sometimes get into chase situations. Yeah, so this is an abstracting thing. Chases and quarry, determine starting gap. Chase is broken down into 3d6 legs. Timescale of each is... Ooh. Wow, you could potentially have quite the marathon foot chase. Would not enjoy that. Chases reduce the gap to 0 before the end. Okay, so... How do you reduce it? Okay, resolving a foot chase. Both choose one character to lead them. No PCs. Okay. Okay, interesting. 2 leaders make opposed con athletics checks. Winning side widens or closes the gap by 1d6 meters per 5 round movement rate of the leader. So yeah, if it's 2 people, it's always going to be the 2d6. Okay, this is a good system. Rolls d20 on the chase event tables. It's 50% chance to either side. Okay. Beat until the chase ends. Makes sense. So presumably, yeah, if they... Okay. So foot chasers, you might encounter a large crowd. Oh, I like this. This is the standard. You run into a marketplace or something. May attempt to dissuade or intimidate the group to assist them. If the crowd is not managed or bypass, the opposing side rolls to widen or close the gap. Nice. Burst of speed. So that's a good one to roll, obviously. Obstruction. Oh. This is why you have a Minotaur leading the group, because they just plow through any obstructions. Snatch opportunity. Take an action to this. Okay. Clear their action within a 5-second countdown is nice if you're at a table. But if you're playing by post, that's really not viable, so just a thing to keep in mind. Okay, snap opportunity. Random setback. Oof. Lost. I mean, potentially if you get lost, then the enemy can't find you either, so it might be worth it if you're defending. Hostile third party. Besetter. Oh no, that's funny. A character struck in the head by an object. Okay. Third party, single... Okay. Okay, dangerous hazard. Dex, luck, saving throw. 1d12 damage, ignoring arm. Ooh. That's pretty nasty. Destruction. Another physical barrier thing. Hang on. Hang on. Destruction stuff. Okay, these are the same as these. 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 are identical. Okay. That appears to be intentional because we got snap opportunity again at 12. Okay. Cross paths. Melee attacks. Oh dear. That's not a good sign in the chase. Hidey hole. Vroom. Okay, so that's an instant chase over. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good mechanic. I'm assuming that vehicle chasers use a similar type of mechanic. Um, common actions. Character may take one action each turn, or possibly two with certain cyberware, magic, combat drugs, or other abilities. Or just be a Vex and take 3 actions a turn, you know. Because action economy, who needs it? Okay, yep. Let's see. This is going to be this is going to be fairly standard stuff. And that's not a knock on it. Let's be honest, pretty much all games have pretty similar actions. So I'm going to be going through this pretty quick. I'm not talking about something, some unique system that only Lowlife has come up with. This is literally every RPG. Attacks, d20 plus your attack bonus plus strength modifier. Damage is weapon damage plus strength modifier. Okay, with some melee modifiers, which is good. Okay, ranged attacks. Damage is based on perception. Attack is based on perception. Common modifiers. Yep. Good standard stuff. Very close range. Okay. Yep. Damage. Burst fire. Okay, burst fire is where we're going to have... So, armor in this reduces damage by a flat amount. Which, you know, they use the same system in Traveller. It's a good system. Okay, burst fire. Bursts are 3 round. Spray is +2 to hit. Focus fire is -2 to hit, but increases the damage by 1 die, which is pretty good. So you can either hit a slippery target, or you can do extra damage to a tough target. Yeah, that's not seeing anything else particularly unusual here. Okay, full auto. This is where the going gets good. Suppression fire or area damage. Every 2 bullets beyond 10 widens the frontage by 1 meter. So it's a cone of bullets. Is there a limit to how many bullets you can fire? It does not appear so. You must make a will check to do anything other than hunker down behind the closest cover on their next turn. Ooh, that's neat. Press... Okay. Okay, so provided you can maintain suppression and the enemy doesn't keep making their will checks, yeah, that's probably good. You're going to want some way to give people disadvantage on will checks, otherwise it's 50-50. I would like some reason that people would actually do this if they succeed in their will checks too. Like, they might take some damage if they're in the zone. Because, you know, otherwise it's a bit iffy, because most people are going to have at least 10 will. So that's a 50-50 chance of them succeeding and shooting you back, which is hurty. And the reason that they're suppressed is because there were bullets flying overhead, so there's still a chance that they're going to get hit. Area damage. Make a luck save, modified only by cover, with disadvantages less than half cover. Okay. On a failed save... Okay, so there's no way to not have some advantage or disadvantage here. Interesting. On a fail, the target suffers a standard hit. Number of potential targets is limited to the number of bullets fired. Okay. Yeah, that's a good mechanic. I might say disadvantage with no cover, normal with less than half cover, and advantage with full cover, or with more than half cover. But that's just how I think. Grenades thrown against defense 10 to land in their intended area. Modifiers and discretion. Blast trauma for Nat 19 effects. Okay. I might need to go back and see if there's some mention of Nat 19 effects earlier. On a hit, the grenade detonates. Roll 1d4, complete miss. Grenade catches half of the intended target. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Pretty standard. Oh, and on a fumble, you want to roll a 1. Dear. Okay, shock weapons. Luck, con, or to avoid... Oh, no, that's gonna be painful. Yeah, so taser weapons are nasty. Critical hits. Natural 20 automatically causes max damage. Melee based also apply the Nat 19 effect. Anti-vehicle weapons roll vehicle trauma. Natural 1. Attacker is fumbled and somehow expose themselves to a counter-attack. Okay, gains a free attack against them. Target is distant, immediately returns fire. If the target is distant and in melee with an ally, fumbled attack is against a random ally. Firearm users have a jam chance, which is going to be fun. Special rules apply to grenade fumbles, damage, dodging. Okay. Got a blank page here on page 70. Presumably there's more to come. Okay. Yep, dodging. Can use your action to... Hang on. This is the same as... Why is this printed twice? Because the damage here is... same as this, but it doesn't mention armor or injuries. So I'm not seeing why this has been printed twice. It seems like a waste of space, but maybe I'm just not seeing this right. Anyway, dodging can get disadvantage from all enemy attacks and advantage on luck, dex saves and dex checks to resist adverse effects. Must use their first action to dodge and forfeit any subsequent actions. Interesting. I'd be kind of inclined to say that you can dodge as a reaction, but it costs you your next turn as another option. But yeah, I'm fine with this as is. Okay, and staring into the void of the blank space, we will leave it there today. For this is page 70 of 317-ish pages. So we've still got a long way to go. Should be fun though. See you all next time, and have